I don't believe this. I don't believe it. I just spent 7 minutes. Oh my god, dude. I just spent 7 minutes. And my microphone was muted. I just spent 7 minutes and my microphone was muted. Anyway, what I was saying in those 7 minutes, sorry guys, I was simply saying that it's nice to take a little break from Resident Evil. I've been playing Resident Evil so much. It's nice to take a little break, and it's nice to fly. Go back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 on the PlayStation 5 and fly. Here we are in the Vision Jet. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in South Florida, specifically in Boca Raton, which is like a very rich, wealthy part of South Florida. It's like, like Beverly Hills, like super rich people. And it's nice to like be here to fly out in beautiful Boca Raton and take a little break from Resident Evil. Quite frankly, I'm like sick and tired of Resident Evil. I've been playing it for like 3 weeks, almost a month now. And I finished it. Everything's been explained about the story of Resident Evil. I made those videos. You can go watch them. They're there if you want to know. So it's good to be back on the PlayStation 5 Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I just want to say this, which I said already, but the video, my microphone on the video here was muted. I just want to say how impressed I am by PlayStation 5 version. Now that I've been using it for how many months, right? And let's say 4 months. I've been using it for 4 months, and after 4 months, I gotta tell you, man, the PlayStation 5 version, not only does it look great, not only does it run smooth, but there's zero hiccups, zero mishaps. It's just a great experience for anyone who wants like an easy click and play right away type experience. And I can't say enough great things about the PlayStation 5 version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I already mentioned just how great it is. Plus, we have PlayStation VR 2 update coming up, so you got plenty of reason to love this. All right, look, I know there's some of you out there who are going to defend your PC, but understand this: PC, it's a different beast. It costs a lot of money to build a high-end PC, and to have an ultra-wide screen, and to have these super expensive VR headsets, and all of that. It's expensive, While the PlayStation 5 version, it's you can buy a used PS5 digital for like $380. For $380 you could have a used PS5 digital, and you can start playing this. So it's a more easy, accessible experience. Or you can buy an Xbox One S. Look, whatever. You can buy an Xbox One S. You can buy a cheap Xbox One S used for like $300, and or maybe $350, and have that experience as well. But why would you want to go that route when you can have something more better and powerful like PS5 version, and just go with the PS5? Me personally, I wanted to buy PS5 Pro just for this, but I ended up getting a Nintendo Switch 2, which I don't regret buying a Nintendo Switch 2, because I already have two PS5s and a PlayStation VR 2 and a PlayStation Portal, so I don't regret buying a Nintendo Switch 2. However, by the end of this year, like probably around December, Christmas. For Christmas, maybe if I have the money, if I can save some money, we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, I don't have a crystal ball. It would be nice if I did have a crystal ball, right? And we'll see if I can save some money. I certainly want to purchase PS5 Pro. Not just for this. This is one of the reasons, of course, but also because of, you know, Gran Turismo 7 and many other PS5 enhanced games, and of course Resident Evil Requiem to play it on a PS5 Pro. Are you kidding me? And of course, you know, absolutely, this game, it's one of the main reasons, honestly, to take the advantage of PlayStation VR 2 with a PS5 Pro. So, not to mention, like, I have like over how many? 590 PlayStation 5 games, and out of those 590 PlayStation 5 games, God knows how many of them are PS5 Pro enhanced. So I have plenty of reason to purchase PS5 Pro, especially now since the PS6 has been delayed and the Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out. I have plenty of reason to be purchasing PS5 Pro this holiday season. I have plenty of reasons. Okay, but that's me subjectively. Subjectively, me, you know, telling you I have my reasons why I want to get a PS5 Pro. For some of you, you might have your reasons why you don't want to buy one, but I have my subjective reasons why I want to get one. Anyway, the sun is rising here in Boca Raton. Beautiful Boca Raton in South Florida. Boca Raton is just north of Miami. It's just right there on the border of you know, well, it's still, you got a long way to go from Miami. I mean, it's like, you have to pass two counties. You have to pass Dade County and Broward County until you get to the Palm Beach County, because the Boca Raton, it's in Palm Beach County, which is a part of South Florida. Those three counties, man, like the most iconic counties in South Florida, and hopefully they'll showcase that in Grand Theft Auto 6. I can't wait for Grand Theft Auto 6 because I know South Florida really well. Okay, I know Miami really, really well, so it'll be nice to see if they got it right, and they didn't get it right. So it'll be kind of cool to play the game to see if they got it right, and I'll be able to tell you if they got it right. All right, so let's fly. Let's go. I'm ready, ladies and gentlemen. Let's fly. Let's select the altitude. Altitude is going to be, we're not going to fly too high, man. We're like maybe 1,500 feet, man. Hold on. Like 1,500 feet. Because, you know, I want to see the terrain. You know. Alright, so here we go. We are ready to go. Beautiful. You know, this country is really remarkable. I'm talking about the United States of America. Not only do you get to enjoy a beautiful sunrise on the East Coast, but you also get to enjoy a beautiful sunset in the West Coast. Like, think about it. Like, if you live in Miami, you get to enjoy a beautiful sunrise, and if you live in Los Angeles, you get to enjoy a beautiful sunset. So, you know, between Miami and LA, you get to enjoy such beautiful sunrises and sunsets, and you're surrounded by two oceans, Atlantic and Pacific. You know, it's a remarkable country. It really is. But it's such a big country. A lot of people ask me what it's like to live in America. I can only tell you what it's like to live in Florida, but I really can't tell you what it's like to live in America, because it's such a big country. that, each state is different. Like each state has its own unique culture, its own unique way of, um, uh, well, the word culture, 'cause, you go to Georgia, it's a little bit different. You go to Mississippi, Louisiana, it's different. You go to Texas, it's different depending where you are in Texas. If you're in East Texas, Southern Texas, West Texas, you know. And then if you go to Colorado, Colorado is also like a different vibe there. You go to California, I mean, it's a huge state. It's a totally different vibe. It's just like you go to Alaska, it's like a different country, dude. So you go to Hawaii, it's a different vibe, So it's such a huge country, like so many states. It's just, I can only tell you what it's like to live here, like in Miami and South Florida. But if you ask me what it's like to live in America, America is so big, dude. And I tried to explain this to my European friends, even for some of you who live in UK. UK, it's what, 70 million people. It's an island, but it's not like a huge island. It's a decent sized island, okay? But it's only like 7 million people, right? You can't compare UK to United States, bro. I mean, no offense, but it's like laughable. Like, it's laughable. You're gonna compare a European country, a small European country, to United States, man. It's like laughable, because they're like so big. Like this country is so big, dude. Like, and for those of you who live here, you know what I'm talking about. There's so many states. It's so huge. You got Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, surrounded by two different oceans. You've got all of these states. It's too huge, too big. Because when you live in America, it'll depend which state you live in. Your experience living here will depend really where you are. If you live in Los Angeles, California, then you'll have a different perspective of America. But that's going to be a perspective from you living in LA versus you living in New York or living somewhere else in the United States, right? So it'll be a different perspective no matter where you live in the United States. Like I said, if you live in Louisiana, it'll be a different perspective. If you live in Texas, it'll be a different perspective. If you live in New York, it'll be a total different perspective. So it'll depend just which state you live in. It's not like, let me tell you, America, this is what America is all about. America is so big. America is so big that even the country itself doesn't know what it's all about. Because I'm sorry, but the country is so big that even the country itself doesn't know what it's all about, because it's so big. This experiment for 250 years, yes, it's a democracy, but it's been around for 250 years, and it's still an experiment. It's such a huge empire that it's like, I can't really tell you what it's all about. Some people will tell you, it's about freedom, but it depends where you go. You have to remember, man, this country has so many different cultures, so many different people, so many different walks of life. It's like a one big melting pot, Just look at New York City, man. It's like a one giant, the entire world in one city, bro. Let's just use New York City for one example. You look at New York City, it's like that's why they call it Big Apple. It's like a one giant world in a one city. All the ethnicity, all of the nationalities, all the different walks of life, it's there. Probably aliens from other planets and different galaxies are living there as well. So what I'm trying to say, America is such a huge country, such a huge melting pot. But that's what it meant to be when the Freemasons and our forefathers decided to create this country. Yes, it's about freedoms. Yes, it's about democracy, pursuit of happiness, and all of that. But it's also an experiment, such a huge experiment, such a huge country. Because when my European friends ask me what's it like to live here, because I lived here now for 30 years, I I can't tell you what it's like to live in America because it's so big. This country is so big to know itself to what it's all about. It's so big. Yes, you don't need no passport. You can go across the borders, different states, go to any state you want to go. You don't need a passport. But it's such a huge country. Such a huge country to really know what it's all about. Yes, on the paper, Constitution, it's all about the, freedom of speech, democracy, liberty, all of that stuff, sure. But it's such a huge country because if you go to Hawaii, it's different. If you go to Texas, it's different. It's a different vibe, different culture. If you go to Kentucky, it's a different vibe, different culture. If you go to Western Virginia, it's a different vibe, different culture. You go to Carolinas, different vibe, different culture. You go to Midwest, you go to Missouri, it's like a different vibe, different culture. You go to all these different states, it's like a different vibe, different culture. You go to Arkansas, it's a different vibe, different culture. You know what I mean? Louisiana, same thing, different vibe, different culture, man. Florida, different vibe, different culture, man. You go to Alaska, Jesus Christ. You go to Alaska, Jesus Christ. It's like a different country. Such a different vibe there too. Especially when you go to Anchorage and Kodiak Island. So, what's going on here? Oh. Is that a peanut island? I think this is a peanut island. Yeah, it is a peanut. Peanut island. Because it looks like a peanut. This is a peanut island, guys. Go look it up. Google it. Peanut island. It's a peanut island. This looks beautiful for PS5 version, to be honest. So yeah, I've been talking about like what's it like to live here in the United States, because some of you have asked me from Europe, and I know I have a lot of viewers from Europe, from UK, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, of course, Balkans region. A lot of you are asking me what's it like to live, because here's the thing about some of you. You watch movies, you watch Netflix, you see all these Hollywood movies, and you're like, you have a different perspective of what you think America is about, because based on what you've been watching on movies. You have to understand, Hollywood is Hollywood. It's a lot of bullshit, Now, there's plenty of bullshit in Hollywood movies. So you can't just go by what the Hollywood and TV shows are feeding you from, Hollywood. They want to give you this perspective of what the America is about. America will be different for each person. That's why they call it pursuit of happiness. Some people will find the pursuit of happiness. Some people will make it. Some people will not make it. Some people will end up on the street living as homeless. And we got a lot of homeless people here as well. So it's America is not like this, golden empire that some of you might think. Yeah, it is an empire. It is huge, but it's not a golden empire. There's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of people living in poverty in this country. It's not like all roses and chocolates and just everybody's having a big house and living large. It's not like that. It can be very rough because you constantly have to work in this country. You constantly have to compete. It's like this machine that requires constant consistency of you working really hard, to achieve something. And good luck, go out there and, not everyone's going to be successful. It's like George Carlin says, there is a, what's it George Carlin says? Well, he says he wouldn't want to live anywhere else. He loves living here in the United States. There's no, and it's true, I wouldn't want to live nowhere else, because there is no any other country like this one, honestly. Believe me, I've been around the world. There's no any other country like the United States. And even like George Carlin says, I love this country. I wouldn't want to live nowhere else. But what else did he say? I forgot what else he said. Something like, I can't say it on it, but he said something really nasty. Something like, okay, I'll just say, he said something like, I love this country, I wouldn't want to live nowhere else, but you got the owners in this country, and they decide what's good for you, what's not. I mean, what he meant by owners, I think what he really meant by is that there's like this group of elites, they're running the show, and they make all the rules, they make all the stuff, and who are these owners? Well, the owners meaning, the ones that control everything. That's what he meant by owners. Okay, who controls the banks? Who controls the media? Who controls your agriculture, your food, military, police, politicians, congressmen? Who controls that? So that's what he meant by these elites, billionaires. Look at Bezos, look at Elon Musk, and how much his influence there was on politics and the election and all that. So that's what he meant by saying, the owners. When he talked about the owners, he's not necessarily talking about Freemasons or some specific secret group or something like that. What he was simply saying is the elites. How many billionaires do we have in this country? I mean, Jesus Christ, like how many gigatrillionaires? Just look at Silicon Valley, just look at California, even down here in Florida. I mean, you look at different states, across different states, how many gigatrillionaires, forget billionaires, they're gigatrillionaires. Billionaire is it's like some old thing back in the days, Forget the billionaires. We don't have billionaires, we have gigatrillionaires. We're talking gigatrillions of dollars. These are gigatrillionaires, and they have a huge influence on the media, the banks, influence on the politicians, everything. They're like oligarchs, almost like oligarchs, and that's what George Carlin meant when he says the owners are running the show. You get what you get. Paper or plastic. Those are your two choices. Paper or plastic. That's what you got. So, I mean, do I agree with that? Now that I lived here for 30 years, yes and no. Listen, yes and no. I know it's so easy to get pulverized. It's so easy to get sucked into this vacuum of, red versus blue. It's so easy to get sucked into that nonsense of politics, and I'm on this side, you're on that side, blah blah blah. It's so easy to get pulverized with that bullshit, and I can see how some of you easily get sucked into that nonsense. But I don't completely agree, even though that was a joke that, you know, George Carlin made. But I don't completely agree with that, because I know a lot of people in this country that made it successfully. They came here with nothing. They made it successfully. A lot of people. I know people from Bosnia that came here, and they're successful. I know people from Serbia and Croatia that came here and that made it successful. I know a lot of people that came from different parts of the world, and they came here and they got businesses and they made it successful. I know a lot of people that they're living the American dream. They came here from another country, and now they're living the American dream. So I don't completely agree with the whole notion of the owners are running the. They certainly have. Here's what I want to say, and I think this is what maybe George Carlin, may he rest in peace, what he meant by that when he was talking about that. What he meant by that, I think he meant that they have influence. The money in this country has an influence. And when you are billionaire, gigatrillionaire, you certainly have a lot of influence on politics and media and banks and pharmaceuticals and many different things. And I think that's what he meant by that. It's like the influence. They have a lot of influence. I mean, look at Jeffrey Bezos and his influence. Amazon, everybody's buying stuff from Amazon, Amazon Prime. You look at, he owns the Wall Street, is it? No, Washington Post, not Wall Street Journal. He owns the Washington Post, and he can dictate what kind of stories to publish in Washington Post, right? That's a monopoly, right? You look at Elon Musk and his influence. I mean, these are all billionaires, you know, and they have a huge influence, you know. So maybe I agree on that, yes. That has been documented. That's something that has been documented clearly, that, you know, the billionaires have a huge influence on this country. There's no question about it. You look at the influence, all these billionaires, Silicon Valley, California, here in Florida, New York, other places across the country, they certainly have a lot of influence, you know. And I think maybe that's what George Carlin meant to say. But the opportunities are here. You still have opportunity. What I'm trying to say, yes, billionaires, these almost like oligarchs, billionaires, they have a huge influence, of course. But you still have opportunities here in this country that you will not have the same opportunities like in Russia or China or somewhere out in the Middle East, because of, you know, their religious views and religious culture that they have. So you will have certain limitations, right? But here you do have opportunities that other countries don't have, you know. What about Western Europe? Well, yeah, sure, Western Europe, sure. But you have to remember, Europe is different. Europe is very nationalized. When you go to Italy, everyone's kind of like, I'm Italian. Who are you? Where are you from? You Frenchy? Get out of here, you Frenchy. Are you Brits? You from Britain? Like, you know, so depending where you are, you know, like people in Europe, because I know I was born in Europe, dude. I know Europe really well. People in Europe are very nationalized. They're like nationalists. Like, you know, they're going to ask, where are you from? Oh, yeah, you from Bosnia? Go back to that country. Like, you know, they're like very proud of their heritage. You ask Germans, they're very proud of their German heritage. You ask Norwegian people, they're very proud of their Norwegian heritage. So it's very nationalized. The Europe, yes, I know it's a European Union, but it's very nationalized. I know that because I was born in Europe, I lived in Europe. You know, here that's not the case. Europe, Western Europe, parts of Europe, well, majority of the Europe, it's nationalized. A lot of nationalism going on. Believe me, I know, I lived in Europe. There's a lot of nationalism in Europe. But here in America, that's not the case. You do have freedoms that you don't have in other places. There are opportunities here that you will not have in the other places. But it's hard. It is tough. It's not easy. It's you really have to work hard. You know, no one's gonna hand it to you on a silver platter like here you go. Hey, enjoy the American dream, the American pie. It's not like that. So I think I do agree. Yes, the billionaires and gigatrillionaires certainly have influences, but you still have the opportunities here that you will not have in other countries. That's all I'm trying to say. So there are opportunities. So that's, I think, why a lot of people want to come here and want to be here and they want to live here, because of these opportunities that you will not have in any other country out there. But yeah, listen, billionaires always have influence. It's not just here. It's in Europe as well. You know, there's many there's European billionaires and gigatrillionaires. You know, look, the money talks, bullshit walks. Yeah, money is an influence, sure. Billionaires will always have influence on certain things because they have money, you know. But one of the things that I like about living in America is there's opportunity. You can always go to a different state. I can always move to California, live in LA, and maybe I want to be an actor, maybe I want to be a voice actor or something. I can pursue that. Nothing's stopping me to move to California or to move to a different state and live in a different state, you know. So you do have opportunities here, you know. So don't forget that, you know what I mean. But when people from Europe ask me, well, what's it like to live in America? I can't tell you what it's like to live in America. I can only tell you what's it like to live in Miami. In Miami, it's a very international city. Majority Latinos, which should be from, you know, Colombia, Brazil. You know, you got a lot of Cubans, a lot of Latin heritage in Miami, which is great. I love it. I love Latino people. It's great. Same thing in California. You have that as well. A lot of Mexicans there. So, but there's a lot of international vibe going on in Miami. You got people from Europe, various different countries from Europe in Miami. It's a big city. It's growing bigger and bigger. You got a lot of investments from Europe, people from Europe coming here with a lot of money to invest into their business. It's a very multicultural, international city, you know. So I can tell you what's it like to live in Miami. But Miami also has a dark side to it. There's a lot of poverty, a lot of crime. There's a lot of dangerous parts in Miami, especially in the West Miami. You know, that makes some. Listen, there's parts of Miami that makes Somalia makes Mogadishu looks like a Beverly Hills. I'm not kidding, dude. There's such dangerous parts with gangs and drug dealers, and all these different types of gangs, from Haitian mafia to Jamaican mafia to you know, all these different groups, different sections of you know, Colombian mafia, all these you know, different types of, you know, gangs out there. I mean, there's so many, dude. I even forgot how many. There's so many, freaking many, and they keep changing names. So there's parts of West Miami that's very dangerous, and it makes Mogadishu look like a Beverly Hills. So it's you know, it's kind of hard to explain. It's like, yeah, there's beautiful parts of Miami where you can have a great time, but then there's also very dangerous parts of Miami where you don't want to go. So if you want to come to Miami, you need to know somebody who knows the city, a way around the city, you know, because you can go to a really shitty neighborhood, a really bad neighborhood, and like, oh fuck. So it can be dangerous, but just like any city, there's good parts, there's bad parts, you know. But West Miami is like very dangerous, dude. Like it's like, dude, it's crazy. It's just like you almost forget that you are in Miami. It's like, it's that crazy. It's just crazy. Things have kind of quieted down a little bit. It's not as crazy as it used to be, but it's still dangerous. You still don't want to go there. So, And I think you'll see that in Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm sure they will showcase some of that in Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, why am I telling you this? Because a lot of people ask me, because I'm originally from Bosnia. I came here after the war. I was in Bosnia during the war in Sarajevo. And after the war, I came here. So people always ask me from Europe. I still have relatives in Europe, and they ask me these questions. And they said, well, what's it like to live there? And I'm like, I can tell you what's it like to live in Miami, in South Florida. But I can't really tell you what's it like to live in America, because America is such a huge country. There's so many states. I can't really tell you what's it like to live here, because it's so big. Because each state is different, and depending in which county do you live in, on that state as well. Which district, which county do you live in? So it's a huge country. But the one thing that the America has is the opportunities. Yeah, it's a huge country. And you got to be careful. It's 300 million people, man. It can be dangerous. It's a very dangerous place. So many different cultures, different ethnic backgrounds. It's a huge country, so you have to be careful. It's a huge country. But there's a lot of opportunity here for people who are ambitious. You have to be ambitious. What's the word? Ambition. If you're ambition enough to come here, I think there's a lot of opportunities, but you will need some money. You're gonna need to have some money to invest. It's not, the banks are not going to simply loan money to you left and right willy-nilly. So you have to have some investments. You have to come here if you come here with a lot of money and you start an investment, whether it's like flipping the houses, being a realtor, buying properties, etc., or whatever business is that you start, if you are smart about it and you're smart about the budget and you know what you're doing, I think you can have a great success here, man, in this country. But if you come here without anything, without money, it's tough. It's rough. Now, you can always get lucky. You know what I mean? There's opportunities. You can always get lucky, and something might work out. You roll the dice, and depending where the dice lands, which number of the dice that it lands on, maybe you get lucky. It's like, what hands have you been dealt? Like playing poker, right? What kind of cards do you have, right? It's like a poker game, and rolling the dice. So, but still, there's opportunities here. But it's hard. It's not easy. It's hard. Why it's hard? Because everybody wants to come here. Here's what I want my European friends to understand. People say, well, why it's so difficult to make it here? Jesus Christ, it's a huge empire, man. 300 million people. And everybody wants to come here. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be a movie star. Everybody wants to be important. Everybody wants to be somebody. Everybody wants to live the American dream. Everybody, wants to come here. So you got so many people, so much competition. Everybody wants to come here. And that's why it's so hard to make it here, because everybody wants to do the same thing. Everybody wants the American dream. Everybody wants the slice of that American pie. Everybody wants to be part of that American pie. And that's not an easy thing to do. That's very hard. So that's my honest perspective on what I can tell you about America. But still, I still cannot tell you what it's like to live here, because America's big. It's a huge country. So many states. It's like I said, you go to Seattle, it's different. You go to Washington State, it's a different vibe. You go to Utah, it's a totally different vibe, dude. You go to New Mexico, totally different vibe. You go to Arizona, totally. Nevada, oh my God, totally different vibe. California, big time different vibe. So it really depends where you are, where you live in this country, because it'll be a different experience depending on where you live. Like you go to Louisiana, different vibe. You go to Mississippi, Georgia, Kentucky, West Texas, East Texas, different vibe. So Colorado, different vibe. You know, Oregon, different vibe. Because for some of you guys, like I know I have some of you from UK, probably some of you from UK, United Kingdom, you were watching. You were on an island, right? 70 million people, and pretty much you know how it is on that island in United Kingdom. Because it's not a huge island, it's a small island, but a pretty decent size island. Not like a huge island, but a pretty decent size island. But you can't compare that United Kingdom island to United States. I'm sorry, and I know some of you UK Brits don't like hearing this. I know you got monarchies and you got Canada and Australia and New Zealand. I get that, but if you're going to compare 70 million people to 300 million people on that one island, dude, you can't compare UK to United States because it's a different beast, bro. This is an empire. This is huge. This is juggernaut. This is the most powerful country on the planet. It's the empire. So you know you can't really compare any European country to United States because such a huge United States, so huge, man. So hopefully this makes sense to all you Europeans who are asking me constantly about what's it like to live in America. I've been living here for 30 years and I still can't tell you what's it like. I can tell you what's it like to live in Miami. I can tell you anything you want to know about the Miami, but I cannot really tell you what's it like to live in America. Yes, I have traveled. I've been to California. I've been to Nevada. I've been to different states, but I was only there visiting. I wasn't living there. Like when I went to LA, I was there to visit, to have a good time. I wasn't living in LA. So, like, you know what I mean? When I went to Nevada, Las Vegas, I went there to have a good time. I didn't go there to live. But in Miami, I live down here. I live in South Florida, so I can tell you what's it like to live in South Florida. But I cannot tell you what's it like to live in Southern California or Nevada or New Mexico or Texas and, you know, Alaska and all these other places, or Hawaii. So hopefully, you know, since the reason I'm mentioning this is because a lot of you have asked me this question, and I felt like maybe I should kind of answer those questions here on this live stream while I'm flying, because America is huge. It's a huge empire, guys. And it's not easy to like explain to you what's it like to live here, because it depends which state you live in and which part of the state you're living in, which county you live in, which district you're in. It's huge, you know. And I'm pretty sure all the Americans who are watching this, and I know there's plenty of Americans that are watching me, I'm sure they will agree on this, because it's such a huge country, you know, because it's a different vibe in the different states. Different cities across the different states are different. They have a different culture, different vibe, you know. The vibe in LA is different than the vibe in Miami. The vibe in Austin, Texas is different than the vibe in Miami. The vibe in New York City is different than the vibe in San Francisco. It's different. The vibe in Seattle is different than the vibe in New York City. So it's like there's different vibes. It's different. And I'm sure my fellow Americans will agree with me on this. I'm sure they will agree with me on this. I already have 4 likes, so that means 4 people agree with me. Anyway, let's get back to Mike's Flight Simulator for a minute. I don't know. Is there anything else I can say about? Um, 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Hold on. I just want to see where I'm at. All right, that's what I wanted to see. Like, I don't think, is there anything else that I can say about the Microsoft Flight Simulator that I haven't already mentioned on a PlayStation 5? As you all know, I'm no stranger to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've been playing Microsoft Flight Simulator since it came out in August of 2020 on a PC originally. So I'm no stranger to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've been playing it since it came out, since 2020 August. Coming up now, what? 6 years, almost 6 years. 6 years anniversary. But I can tell you, coming from a guy who have played Microsoft Flight Simulator on PC, Xbox Series X, and Series S, and now PlayStation 5, I can tell you that PlayStation 5 version is my favorite version. And the reason it's my favorite version, it's not because, ooh, it looks better than the PC. It's the fact that this is the most reliable version. This is the point that some of you are missing. Or why is he praising the PlayStation 5 version so much? Because this is the most reliable version. Because I have experience. See, I'm speaking from experience. When I talk about Microsoft Flight Simulator, I have 6 years under my belt experience playing it on a PC, Xbox Series X, S, and now, of course, PlayStation 5. And I can tell you that this is the most reliable version. And when I'm playing something, I don't want the game to crash. I don't want any hiccups. I don't want any mishaps. I want to make sure when I'm playing this that everything is smooth as a butter and everything's running great. I don't want to deal with any sort of problems or issues. And I think that's what you're going to get with PlayStation 5 version. And it's not just me that's saying this. There's other YouTubers who will confirm on this as well. Yes, we get it. Yeah, the PC version, sure. If you have a high-end PC and you got ultra widescreen monitor, you got all the bells and whistles, of course, it will be the best experience. There's no question about it. But that's a very expensive experience. That's out of the reach of the majority of people out there. Not everyone's super rich. Not everyone's growing money on the trees and just, let me just grab a $100 bill here. Okay, not everyone's made out of money. So what I'm trying to say is this is more feasible for a majority of people. Like I said, they can purchase They don't have to buy a PS5 Pro. Everybody's, you don't have to buy a PS5 Pro. You can buy a used PS5 digital. You can go to GameStop and buy a used PS5 digital for like $380. That's not bad. For $380, you can buy a used PS5 digital. And for $380, you can have this experience. And that's not bad. That's a pretty feasible and affordable experience to start enjoying Microsoft Flight Simulator on the PlayStation 5. On the PC, it's not the same thing. You will need to spend at least $1,500 to $1,600, and then you need to buy a monitor. You want triple monitors? That's going to cost more money. You want to buy all this extra gear, the eye tracker, the Tobii eye tracker, and all that other stuff. That's going to cost money. You want to buy a VR headset? That's going to cost money. What I'm simply trying to say, on a PC, it's more expensive. Yes, I know PC has the best experience, and I'm not sitting here denying that the PC doesn't have the best experience. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, PC has the best experience, because you can have the best experience. But PC, it's also tricky, because I, throughout my experience, had nothing but issues with PC throughout 6 years. And I had a powerful GPU, like a 3090 Ti, i7 processor, 16 gigs of RAM. I had a pretty decent PC. But even with a 3090 Ti, I was experiencing issues and problems. There was always issues and problems when I was playing Microsoft Flight Simulator on a PC. On a PlayStation, that was not the case. Everything was calibrated nicely, smooth as a butter. And I think this is the point that some of you guys are missing. I'm not saying that you can't have a great experience on the PC. Of course, you will have the best experience on the PC, the best experience. But at what cost? How much do you have to spend? $2,000, $3,000, $4,000? And still, you have to tweak things. You have to adjust everything. Everything has to be adjusted. And there's no guarantee that the game will not crash, because it has crashed. I lost how many bugs and crashes and issues I had. Dude, it's like, just go watch my videos in past 6 years and you'll see the kind of issues and problems I had with a PC version. Okay? So, I'm speaking from experience, guys. Alright? Just go watch my videos and live streams from past 6 years. Past 6 years, and you'll see the issues and problems. Even with the Xbox Series X, I mean, that's a weird part. A lot of you Xbox fanboys are talking to me about, Xbox Series X and S. Listen, I had Xbox Series X and S for 5 years. I've been using it for 5 years. I played Microsoft Flight Simulator both 2020 and 2024 on Xbox Series X and Series S. And it's all documented there. There's been issues and problems. Game crashing, bugs. It's been nothing but issues and problems. That's not the case with the PlayStation 5. You see, this is why no one can have an argument with me. Because I can just tell them, okay, dude, go watch my videos. Go watch my videos. If somebody comes to me saying me this and that, you know what I tell them? Go watch my videos. You want the evidence? Go watch my videos. So, I speak from experience. When I tell you that this is by far the best, smoothest, reliable Microsoft Flight Simulator experience, that's what I mean by that. It's the most reliable. And now with the PlayStation VR 2 coming out, the PlayStation VR 2 version coming out, do you really need to bother with a PC? No, I'm just saying. If you already have a PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation VR 2, and if you already have PlayStation 5 Pro and a PlayStation VR 2, do you really need to bother with the PC version? Now ask yourself that question. When you already have this smooth, well polished, well calibrated experience on the PlayStation 5, the most reliable version. Guess what? I would rather play on a most reliable version than to be stuck with some sort of bugs on a unreliable version, which is PC. PC is unreliable. Unreliable. And I can say that it's unreliable because I've experienced it. You see, there's nothing you can tell me that I haven't experienced. You bring up the Xbox Series X, dude, I've been using Xbox Series X version for 5 years. Series S for 5 years. PC for 5 years. So you can't come at me with, oh, I know. Because everything you tell me, I have already experienced. So this is why people cannot bring an argument to stick with me. Because everything you tell me, I can already counter that argument with my credibility. And I have credibility, and that's why some of you are so pissed off at me. That's why some of you are so jealous of me, because you know I have credibility and you can't bring your argument. Because I have credibility, I have videos all documented, live streams. So when I say this is the most reliable version, I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking from like, ooh, I'm a pony fanboy, phony fanboy. I'm not speaking from a fanboy point of view. I'm speaking from a facts point of view, based on the facts and based on the experience. The experience that I have, facts to back it up with, while you guys are just speaking from justifying your PCs or your consoles that you have. I don't do that. I don't justify nothing. I speak from experience. When I talk about Nintendo Switch 2, I speak from experience. I'm not going to say Nintendo Switch 2 sucks when there was nothing for me to prove that it sucks. If I say something sucks, I have to prove it. I can't just say, ooh, this sucks. People say, well, okay, well, why it sucks? Prove it. So I have yet to encounter anything on Nintendo Switch 2 where I can say, oh, well, it sucks. I play all the Resident Evil games that are amazing, smooth as a butter, no issues, it's all documented. Played Metroid Prime, Beyond, all of these games on Nintendo Switch 2, and I have yet to have any hiccups, any mishaps. So I speak from experience, guys. And I think you too should also speak from experience. Don't just justify your purchase. A lot of you want to justify your purchase, man. Even though you don't want to admit it, but it's so obvious when I read your comments, when I look at your videos, it's nothing but just justifying your purchase. Nobody cares about you justifying your purchase, dude. People want to know the evidence. Show them the evidence that it's great. Don't just talk about it. Show them the evidence. Provide them evidence. Provide them credibility. And people will look at it and they will say, all right, well, he's not lying. He's speaking from a factual experience, meaning factual based on the facts that he can back up with the credibility and evidence, not just hearsay. Ooh, and everybody can jump on the keyboard and blah, 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 just type in. I don't do that. I speak from experience. And that's a fact. I'm not sitting here telling everybody, go out and buy a PlayStation 5 and you should only play Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 on the PlayStation 5. I'm not saying that. I'm simply telling you my experience. I have the best, reliable, smoothest experience on the PS5 when it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. That's a fact. That's not like even a matter of an opinion. That's a fact. And I'm not sitting here like some pony fanboy, Sony pony fanboy, because I'm not. You guys know I'm not a fanboy of anything. I'm just a gamer who enjoys gaming. And I give the credit where it's due, and I give the criticism where it's due. That's the way I operate. That's the way I have always been operating for 12 years. Nothing has changed. You know. Hey, look at me, man. Like, 1 hour and 7 minutes into this, I have yet to experience any issues. I have yet to experience any problems. I have yet to experience any mishaps. Everything's running smooth as a butter. Yeah, Florida is very flat. It's flat. What is this? UFO? Did UFOs land here? Hey, if UFO wants to land somewhere, I think this is probably the best place for an alien to land. Like here, at night. Like, honestly, if they want to conduct some experiments, they can just come here, land here, especially at night, man. It's pitch black here. You can't see shit. So if the aliens... Yo, there's so many places. Yo, I know they're here. I'm just going to say this publicly. I know aliens are here. The Greys are here. And that's that. They're among us. They've always been among us. I'll just say it publicly. I'm sick and tired of this. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. No, I'm sure. They're here. They're here. And that's that. They've been here since the dawn of humankind. They've been monitoring us. Come on, man. Why haven't we gone back to the moon? Of course we can go back to the moon. Are you trying to tell me that we were able to land on the moon with a calculator computer that has a calculator type computer, a calculator type computer that was able to bring us onto the moon in the late 60s in July? Was it 1968 July? Are you trying to tell me we can't go back to the moon? Come on, man. We can't go back there because they don't want us there. They don't want us there. They told us, get the fuck out of here. Get your fucking ass out of here. We are limited, man. We are limited to where we can go. Don't you guys understand? They have their own galactic, more powerful galactic treaties. And those galactic treaties supersede our little tiny planet. And we don't have the powers to go where we fucking want to go. We only can go where they allow us to go under their supervision. And we don't get to do what we want to do. We can't. That's why we haven't gone back to the moon. I'm telling you. That's the reason why we haven't gone back to the moon. Why not build bases? Why not build military bases on the moon? Why not? Do you think Russians would have built... Now, hold on. Let's just kind of like, just let me get this out of the way. Are you trying to tell me all these superpowers like China, Russia, America, we stopped going back to the moon? Why? Don't we want to dominate? Isn't that the whole idea of what we want to do, dominate? Well, we certainly have done a piss poor job of dominating the moon. But yet we talk about the Mars. Like, give me a break. We can't go there. They won't let us go there. It's as simple as that. There's too much evidence to prove that. Especially the dark side of the moon. They will never, ever. We can send our little toys, these little rovers, these little rovers. China, India can send their little rovers. Russia can send their little rovers. These little tiny little toys. They don't give a shit about that. But we cannot go there. And that's the reason we haven't gone back there. It's not because we can't. Yes, we can. But they won't let us. So, and all this disclosure bullshit. Let me just say something. It's bullshit. Dr. Stephen Greer's right. It's all bullshit. It's never going to happen. This bullshit disclosure will never fucking happen, dude. It's a bunch of smoke and mirrors and bunch of bullshit, man. Smoke mirrors. What's the saying? Smoke and mirrors. Is that the saying? Smoke and mirrors. It's bullshit, dude. It's bullshit, dude. They've been here, and we cannot disclose them. Not because we don't want to disclose them. It's because they told us not to disclose them. We made a treaty with them, and they told us, hey, don't ever disclose us. Don't ever talk about us. If you do that, well, there will be consequences. And we don't want those consequences. You know. So don't expect ever in your lifetime or your future children's lifetime that this disclosure will ever surface to some sort of like, oh, here we go. They're here. They've been here. They're never going to admit to you that they're here. Mark my words. Mark right now on this fucking date. Mark my fucking words. All this disclosure coming June and the movie, it's all bullshit. I know it's directed by Spielberg, but who's funding the project for Spielberg to make that movie? Come on, man. Come on, man. It's all propaganda. It's a misdirection. Like Independence Day misdirection. It's all fucking misdirection. All right? It's all bullshit. So don't expect this disclosure. Don't expect them to tell you, oh yeah, they're here, they're living with us. It's never going to fucking happen. They're never going to disclose this. Mark my words. Even though we all know that they're here, we all know they can time travel, we all know they're Stargates. Where the fuck do you think the Stargate movie came from? And who's the possession of the Stargate? We're not, but they are. But we can't fucking go through there. So, anyway, don't get me started, man. It's because I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit. Like people, they're gonna disclose aliens. No, they're not going to fucking disclose aliens, alright? Mark my words on this fucking date. It ain't fucking happening. It ain't happening. You can come back to this video and you can hear it from my mouth that they're never, never, ever, never, ever, never, 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 ever, never, ever, never, 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 ever, never, 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 ever. They will never, 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 ever disclose the existence of other extraterrestrial beings living here. Never. Because they can't. They can't. It's not that they don't want to. They simply can't. So just remember that. I know some of you ufologists are super excited. Ooh, here comes June. They're going to tell us they're here. Oh. You'll be so disappointed. And you will probably be disappointed with that movie as well. Because it's a misdirection. Oh, they're here, but they're invisible. They're interdimensional. Bullshit. Yes, there's different types of aliens out there who can do interdimensional stuff. They can bend space and time. But they're here. They've been here for centuries. Since the dawn of humankind. Since the dawn of Jesus Christ and Bible and Moses and all of these prophets. Where do you think these prophets came from? These prophets just fell from the sky. They came from another membrane. No, these prophets were influenced by the puppeteers, and who are the owners of this planet, which they are. They've been monitoring us. They've been watching us, dude. You got to understand that shit, bro. You know. You got to understand that shit. They've been monitoring us. They've been controlling us. They've been here since the dawn of humankind. They can access our psychic abilities. They can put thoughts into our minds. They can make us think certain things we don't want to think. They can influence us in so many different fucking density levels. Why? Because they're a much higher density than we are. Do you even understand what I mean when I talk about fucking density? Different levels of density, of knowledge, of advancement. We are like not even maybe a second density, bro. We're still in the woods. We're still in a jungle. We're barely out of the fucking second density. They are like in the 10th, 11th, 12th density. To us, they're gods, but they're not really gods. God, it's an energy, an entity, energy that creates everything. It's hard to explain. But they're also created by the same entity. But anyway, listen, they will never disclose this to you that they exist. Dr. Greer, I know Dr. Greer's trying so hard, and God bless his soul. I love Dr. Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer, and he even, he's been through so much, man. The man has sacrificed so much trying to disclose this. But even Dr. Greer deep down, even Dr. Stephen Greer deep down, and God bless his soul, even he knows deep down that this will never come to fruition. Even he knows, with all the information that he has, that they can't simply acknowledge their existence. Because they can't. Because they told them you can't. It's not that we don't want to, it's not like that they don't want to tell us. It's just they told us, the aliens told us, you don't ever disclose us. You never ever mention us that we exist. Or else, consequences. And we don't want that or else consequences. We don't want the consequences. We don't want that. Okay? What the consequences are, I don't know, but it's probably nothing good. So, everybody agreed around the world, Russians, Americans, Chinese, everyone around the world agreed, hey, we can't acknowledge their existence. When you ask Putin about it, what's the Putin say? Сказал. Слушайте, как вы сказал about the alien? No such thing. It's crazy. Okay? Like, they're going to dismiss it. Chinese, they're going to dismiss it. We, of course, dismissing it, but we're kind of toying around with it, manipulating it a little bit. Guys, they will never, ever, ever acknowledge their existence because they can't. They told us you can't. Why do you think Eisenhower had a meeting with them? What do you think they told Eisenhower? Remember when Eisenhower went on this trip and he didn't come back like in 3 days or something? And he said he had to go to the dentist. Well, he went to a dentist for 3 days. Come on. He went to a secret base. We all know which base that is. Okay? All right? And he went to that secret base and there was a meeting. And I can tell you on that meeting, sure, there was some exchange of technology, infrared lasers and things like that, some microchips, but, they always tell us, do not mention us. If you want to make movies about us and whatever, that's fine, because they're just movies, but you cannot disclose our existence. Because they don't want us to know that we exist. This is what people don't understand. It's the other way around. It's not like the governments don't want to tell us. It's they can't tell us. Because they told us you cannot disclose us. Or else there will be consequences. And consequences are what? Well, gee whiz, if they created us, they can easily destroy us. There, I just said it. If they can easily create us, they can easily destroy us. And they told us, you do not talk about us, that we exist. You want to make movies about us. You want to entertain yourself, make fun of us, and make movies. Fine, but you don't acknowledge our existence. So understand this. This disclosure thing, it ain't happening. And you can come back to this video. Where is it? March 28th? Yeah, come back to this live stream, March 28th, and you can hear it from me that I told you so. I told you so. It ain't happening. Okay? They will never disclose this. Never. 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 People have been talking about aliens since 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and here we are now, late 2000s, still nothing happening. Oh, gee whiz, I wonder why. Now, people say, well, what about these other guys? People are profiting money from this. The guy with the hair, he's making money. Ancient aliens, it's a good profit, good business. A lot of people are profiting from this. They're making documentaries, they're selling books, they're going to seminars where they're charging you $100 to go and see them. And then if you want to sign, if you want them to sign the book, their book for you, that's an additional money you have to pay for them to sign the book. They're not going to sign your book for free. I mean their book for free. Like the hair guy, when you go to these UFO conventions, he's not going to sign it to you for free. You have to pay him. You have to pay him money to sign that shit. These guys are profiting money. You know, I'm talking about the ancient alien guy with the hair. All these guys, they're the podcasts and all this, they're all making money. They're making documentaries, books, you know, they're all profiting money. Same thing with these, the ghost guys, speaking to ghosts and spirits and all this bullshit. They're all making money off of that. Remember, there's a big profit to be made out of this whole fucking thing, you know. And Spielberg is like, hey man, let's make this movie, where I can make a lot of money, a nice summer popcorn movie of aliens. You think that Hollywood will let him make the movie he wants to make? No. They're going to give you a different propaganda version. You know, I love Spielberg, but, you know, he's not in charge when it comes to, like, what he's able to make. He has to answer to somebody as well. Can I make this movie? And when they look at the script and say, okay, well, we can't have this. You can't show that. No, you can't show that. But we can put this propaganda that they're inside of us. They're inside of our spirits, and they can manipulate our spirits or some shit like that. You know, which is not true. I mean, they can, but they do exist. You know, they are like living beings, like we are. They're just far more advanced. They're far more superior. But the Spielberg version is going to be this propaganda bullshit version, and that's what you're going to see on that's what you're going to see. Emily Blunt, talking like that, and everybody's going to buy into it. Everybody's going to go see it. It's going to make $500 million, $1 billion. It's going to be a huge summer blockbuster. Everybody's going to love it. Everyone's going to talk about it. All the ufologists will come out. You see, Spielberg was right. He was right. He was right. Yeah. People are so naive. People see how easy it is to control people. See how easy it is to manipulate people. If we humans can manipulate other humans, okay, I'm going to say something that's going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your fucking mind. If humans can manipulate humans this fucking easily, imagine how fucking easy it is for them to manipulate us and fucking control us. Jesus Christ. Can't you see? Are you guys this blind to fucking see this? Are you this fucking gullible and blind to fucking see the forest for the trees? But you guys all gonna fucking, come June, UFOs, you see, they exist. They manipulate our minds, blah, blah, blah. They're going to give you some propaganda version of that. They're not going to tell you the real reality of who they really are and how they operate. Because they can't. So anyway, sorry guys, and this whole, because this has been driving me crazy. This whole alien thing, man, it's been really like driving me crazy. I'm so sick and tired of like hearing about it. Yeah. So sick and tired of hearing about it, and everybody's so excited. Oh, June 12th, we got the disclosure movie, and they will disclose everything, and da 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 da. Yay! Bullshit. That's what they're gonna disclose is nothing burger, bullshit. And you guys gonna eat it? You're gonna buy right into it. Anyway, I'm sorry. I know I went off the subject, but I'm just listen. I'm just trying to be honest here. I'm trying to be this transparent. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I don't care. But if you think that they're going to acknowledge the existence of these Greys and other races out there that exist, Draconians, and there's many others, it's not just Greys, then you are out of your mind. Let me tell you right now, you are out of your mind if you really think they're going to acknowledge their existence. You are out of your mind. You are out of your mind if you think they're going to acknowledge it. Oh, God. Anyway. I don't mean to be so pessimistic. I would love if they would tell us the truth. I listen, I always said I wish that they would acknowledge that these big hairy hybrid apes looks like human. It's like it's a Homo sapien and apes, mixture of Homo sapiens and apes. These Sasquatches, that they existed for centuries. I wish that they would acknowledge that as well. But they're not going to acknowledge it. Okay? They won't even acknowledge that these species, the Sasquatches. Yet you think they're going to acknowledge the aliens. Come on, man. There's so many other things they won't acknowledge. Interdimensional entities and what they're all about. They won't even acknowledge that as well. Are they demons? Where they come from? What are they? From which, dimension they're coming from? Yeah, they are dimensions. They do exist. Why, you didn't know that? Anyway. So, understand this. In the universe, time has no meaning. Time only has a meaning here, on this planet, for humans. In space, time has no meaning. It has zero meaning. You guys understand what I'm saying? The time is useless. It has zero meaning in a universe. How old is the universe? You can't put a number on it. Because we don't know. That's how limited our knowledge is. But anyway, you can believe whatever you want to believe. That is your choice. But I just want to let you know that you will be disappointed come June. You will be disappointed of nothing burger. Nothing will be disclosed. And I think Stephen Greer already knows that. Nothing will be disclosed. It will be a nothing burger. It will be nothing. Just same old, same old. Nothing will be explained. Nothing will be nothing will be disclosed. It will be just a nothing burger. Enjoy the nothing burger. And the movie will be a nice popcorn summer movie, Spielberg movie. I'm sure it will look good. There'll be a lot of propaganda bullshit in there, and Spielberg doesn't care. He's making good money. What does he care? Hey, it's all good. But, and he's going to give you his version of propaganda, what he believes and blah, blah, blah. He's probably going to tell you that I believe they exist, but they're so far away from us that it can never happen. But it's in a movie. In a movie we can entertain the idea. And blah blah blah. That's that. Everybody's gonna love the movie. Everybody's gonna enjoy the movie. Blah blah blah. Woohoo! Hee hee! Great movie. And all the conspiracy theorists will come out of the woodwork. You see, Spielberg knew something. He knew the secret. He knew. He knew. He knew. Even if Spielberg knew the secret, do you really think he can tell you? No, ask yourself this question. Okay, let's say he was briefed. Let's say Spielberg is part of this elite group. Let's say hypothetically he's part of this elite group on Need to Know. And let's say he knows. Do you really think that they would let him disclose the facts in a movie? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Think. Use common sense. Think. 2 plus 2 is not 22. 2 plus 2 is 4. Use common sense. Think. But you guys don't do that. You don't think common sense. You want to believe something so badly. Spielberg knows the secrets. Yeah, they're just going to let Spielberg willy-nilly just, go make a movie. Spill the beans. Just let everybody know. That's not how it works, dude. That's not how it works. He can't. Even if he knows, he can't. But he can give you his version of it, or the version that they will allow him to make. Do you understand? Same thing with the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The version that they will allow him to make of the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Same thing with Independence Day. The version of that that they will allow him to make, like the Hollywood will allow that movie to be made. Same thing with Man in Black. There's a certain version, a comedic version that we will allow it to be made with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, right? But like this idea that they're going to disclose, even the X-Files, was it Chris Carter? Even Chris Carter says, we were going based on what we were speculating. That's what Chris Carter says. I had no info on anything. I was just speculating. This is what I think. When he was, making the X-Files, he was just saying, Chris Carter, he was talking to, what's his name? Oh my God, the guy who played Agent Mulder. He has a podcast. Agent Mulder has a podcast now, and Chris Carter was there. And on the podcast, Chris Carter says, yeah, dude, we were just going based on like the stuff that we know, that everybody else knows. We were just speculating like everybody else. He says, when I was writing these stories and these episodes, it was all based on what I have heard from, what you guys have heard from, what's been out there on the newspapers and the news, and so we're just speculating based on speculations. So it's all based on speculation. Stargate, it's based on speculations. Although I don't know how they knew about the Stargate. Because from what I have heard, the Stargate really exists. It is a portal, but we don't have access to it. And the Stargate was found, guess where? In Iraq. Yes, in the Middle East. In Iraq. What was in Iraq? Sumeria, the old civilization, the oldest civilization, Sumerians. And he was there. So how, like Stargate, it's like, okay, they know that it exists, but how the fuck did Dean Devlin know? How the fuck did Dean Devlin and Ronald Emmerich, was it Ronald Emmerich or Ronald Emmerich? Anyway, how did Ron Emmerich know, and how did Dean know? These are the guys who did Independence Day and Universal Soldier. How do they know about the fucking Stargate? And then they make Stargate SG-1. So I think I think honestly Stargate is probably the closest of like spilling the beans as you're gonna get. So honestly, I would say Stargate it's as close to like, people say, but how can Stargate work? What is a Stargate? First of all, it's not a time travel, okay? What Stargate is, it's the ability for you to bend space and time, right? I'll give you one example. All right. So like this paper towel. All right. For you to go from here to here will take you about 100 years. 100 years to go to the nearest, well, let's say the nearest galaxy, right? Hundreds of years. No, nobody wants to travel hundreds of years. So if you bend space and time, then you got a shortcut and you can get there quicker. So that's how the Stargate works. Who wants to travel 100 years? Not 100, but hundreds of years for you to get to the nearest of galaxy even with the speed of light. Even with the speed of light, it would take us hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to get to the nearest galaxy. That's with the speed of light. So no one's going to be using those means of travel. So, right? So let's say you want to go to Andromeda, some planet on Andromeda. And let's say Andromeda is here, and our planet is here, which is a Milky Galaxy. So the best way to get there is to bend space and time. You bend it like an Einstein theory, and voila, there you are. You're now there. You bend space and time. And that's what the Stargate does. Should I even be talking about this? I'll have Man in Black knocking on my door. How the fuck do you know about this? I don't know, I just know. Yeah, Mr. Forka, how the fuck do you know about this? Einstein theory, that's how. How do you know about the Sumerians, and how do you know that the Stargate was buried there? Does it work? I don't know if it works. See, that's the thing. We did, from what I heard, our special forces did dig it up, and they took it. And where they took it, where it is, I don't know. Were they able to make it work? Were they able to fix it? I don't know. But they did find the Stargate buried. Fuck, man. Do you guys know about this? It was in Iraq. It was like in 2006, I believe. What a coincidence. We went there to invade Iraq, right? Because we care about their freedoms, right? Weapons of mass destruction, all this other bullshit. We went there. Why the fuck would we want to go there? Stargate. You guys need to watch Stargate and Stargate SG-1. I'm telling you, if there's the one thing that's probably like the best example of what might be true, it's most likely Stargate. How the fuck do you think these UFOs show up here? You think that they're traveling in a traditional means like we're traveling? They're using Stargate. They're bending space and time, dude. They don't travel in like jet fuel or even speed of light. They're bending space and time. And they have their own gravitational aura, meaning that they built their own space and time within their UFOs, their craft. That's why our laws of physics don't apply to them. That's why they can manipulate the laws of physics that we have here, because they're not operating the same laws of physics as they are because they're using their own space gravitational pull that gives them the ability to jump from one portal to another portal and bend space and time. I'm surprised you guys don't know any of this shit, man. Because you're watching Pornhub. You're watching Pornhub all day long. That's the problem. You're watching OnlyFans and Pornhub all day long. Anyway. Hold on. I think Man in Black will be knocking on my door anytime soon. Mr. 4K. How you doing, sir? How was your day today? Good? Excuse me, sir. Would you mind please looking at this for a minute? Okay. Just keep looking. Alright. Keep looking, sir. Have a good day. Okay. And I won't remember anything. I won't remember nothing. I won't even remember this live stream. They'll even remove this video. Does the Man in Black exist? Well, they're not dressed in the suits like, you know, it's like CIA. Does the CIA agent tells you he's a CIA? Is he dressed like, hey, look, I'm CIA? No. They work covertly. They blend in. They blend in covertly. That's the whole point, man. They're not going to advertise themselves, dude. Everything's done covertly. They're not going to advertise themselves to you. Hey, look me, I'm CIA. Hey, look me, I'm a Man in Black. They're not going to do that. They're going to covertly blend in. And they're going to see what you're all about. You know, they're going to become your friend. You know, why is he all of a sudden so nice to me? Why is he my friend? Because he likes me so much. Or why is she so interested in me? Am I really that good looking? Come on, man. I'm not Brad Pitt. Why she loves me so much? It's called covert operation. See what you're doing. I'm surprised you guys don't know any of this shit, man. I can't believe I'm even saying this stuff. If this video might be removed. I don't know. I don't blame YouTube if they remove it. I'm spilling a lot of beans here, dude. Jesus Christ. I might have to live in Stephen Greer's house. Stephen Greer, man. I need a safe haven, bro. I'm coming to your house in North Carolina. Yeah, he lives in North Carolina. Dr. Greer will probably tell me, no, you have to pay for food, bro. I'll pay for food, Greer. I'll pay for the food. I'll order pizza. Speaking of Dr. Stephen Greer, he's right about a lot of things. Listen, he speaks the facts, he speaks the truth. But even Dr. Greer knows that powers to be will never acknowledge their existence because they simply cannot. They can't. And it will never happen. So that's why he's not excited about this disclosure thing. I'm not excited. I know a lot of you are excited because, you know, Steven Spielberg movie is coming on June 12th, the same day that the Trump administration will disclose this whole UFO thing and aliens' existence, and everybody's excited for June 12th. Woohoo! Woohoo! Finally, I'm sorry to tell you, but the Trump administration cannot disclose the existence of aliens. They cannot. And they will not. Because they can't. Dr. Greer knows that. Everyone knows that. But some of you don't know that. Some of you think that, oh, they will disclose. No, they won't. They won't. They will give you some nothing burger. Some nothing burger. Yeah, we see some flying objects, but they could be our enemies. You know, it could be Chinese, could be Russians, could be Indian. You know, we have a lot of enemies out there. You know, they're working on these prototype advanced, you know, things, blah, blah, blah. They're going to give you some nothing burger. What did you find out about those UFOs, drones in Jersey? It's a nothing burger bullshit story. They were never transparent, and they will not going to be transparent. They're not going to fucking tell you transparency. So it's going to be a nothing burger as always. business as usual. Nothing burger. They're gonna give you some bullshit story. You're gonna buy right into it. So, I'm sorry to tell you, but I know Joe Rogan is hoping that, you know, because of his relationship with Donald Trump, because he endorsed him, he's hoping that maybe President Trump will. But he can't. Even if he wanted to, President Trump cannot disclose the existence of these aliens. Even if he knows, he cannot tell. Even his own son, Eric, actually, his wife was on Fox News, and she said Eric, his son, her husband, Eric Trump, asked his father, could you please tell us that? And he couldn't. He can't. Obama tried, and they said, well, I can't really talk about it. Even Obama, Bill Clinton says, I know as much as you guys do. Come on. Who tried? Jimmy Carter tried, but they told Jimmy Carter, I'm sorry. You have to change your story, dude. Like, there's nothing out there. Jimmy Carter says, yeah, there's nothing out there. I don't know what I've seen. Maybe I was hallucinating. I don't know. You know, every president who tried to even Ronald Reagan tried, and he says, nah, it was, I don't know what I saw on the plane. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. They all changed their story. He said that he saw something when he was on the plane, and then it's like, it could have been something else. I don't know. You know, at my old age, I might be seeing things, hallucinating. I don't know. Whatever. You know, Ronald Reagan changed his story because they can't. They all tried, and they realized they can't. So you're never going to get this disclosure. All right? It's never going to happen, guys. It's never going to happen. This. I would love, listen, nobody wants this more than me. To see the full disclosure that finally tell us everything about the aliens and the existence of aliens. I would love it, believe me. But I also know that it's not going to happen, okay? Because they can't, and they will not. It will never happen. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be honest with you. It's not going to happen. This disclosure, they can't even disclose Sasquatches. Jesus Christ. How about, okay, that would be a first step for them to disclose the species that looks like half Homo sapien, half ape. And how the fuck did that happen, right? But they're not going to disclose that to you, that they still exist, they're still here. And they know they're still here. In the Pacific Northwest and Pacific Northwest of America and Canada. But they don't want to disclose it. They're not going to tell you that they exist. Because they can't. And they will not. And you think that they're going to tell you about these different types of aliens and Andromeda and Rita Zediculi, Zeta Reticuli star system, Orion Belt. They're going to tell you about who's coming from Orion Belt and Andromeda, our nearest galaxy. Come on, man. Come on, man. They're going to tell you about the Pleiadians, and they kind of look like us, and it's hard to tell. You have to look at their neck and their ears. Those are the features. The Pleiadians are probably here among us, and you probably don't even know. You know about the Pleiadians? I bet you didn't know. I bet you didn't know. But don't expect them to tell you, oh yeah, there's Pleiadians. They're here with us. They look like us, but they have different features. And then there's these insect-like, aliens. They look like insects, and they're these like lizard-like looking type as well. There's all kinds of ugly motherfuckers out there. There's grays, of course, the most familiar ones. And then there's tall whites with blue eyes, blonde hair. They exist as well. Oh, they're going to disclose all of this to you? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Just understand that. Anyway, getting back to Mike's Flight Simulator. Man, this entire live stream has turned into an aliens podcast. First I started talking about what it's like to live in America. And then now we started talking about aliens, disclosure, because it's been on the news every day, bro. Every day. My God, man, are they talking about this disclosure every day? Disclosure, disclosure. My God, man. Oh, my God. But anyway, Microsoft Flight Simulator, early morning, Saturday early morning flight. As you can see, man, PlayStation 5 version, smooth as a butter, runs great. It's amazing. Now, what can I say? I mean, you see what you see. And it's so nice that I, came back to fly Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, to fly on the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 on PlayStation 5, because it really shows me just like how stable the PlayStation 5 version is. It just, look how stable this version is, dude. It's a very stable version. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not saying that you're not going to have a great experience on a PC, but what I'm trying to tell you is this is the most stable version that you're going to get. Okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. And it is the most stable version. Look at this. Did I have any issues? How long I've been flying now? For 2 hours? Did I have any issues with this? None. Zero. That's how smooth it is. And if you don't believe me, go watch some other YouTubers and they'll tell you the same thing about the PlayStation 5 version. And they all have a PC. They all have a high-end PC. But they will tell you how smooth the PlayStation 5 experience is and how reliable, that's the word, reliable it is. I like reliable products. Imagine you have a flight from New York to London, and in the middle of that flight the game crashes and now you have to start the flight again. Imagine that inconvenience. That can happen on a PC. That can happen on the Xbox Series X and S. The chances of that happening on the PlayStation 5 version are very slim. Very, very slim. Okay? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this early morning coffee talk podcast of aliens. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think I turned this into a podcast. I mean, really. I can't help myself, man. It's like I'm a talking podcast. Jesus. People like, I did not expect you were going to talk about the aliens. Yeah, because everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. Now, forgive me for the beginning of the live stream. My microphone was muted for 7 minutes. So if you watch this from the beginning, please skip the first 7 minutes because I didn't realize I was muted. Okay, so I apologize. I just hate when that shit happens because I don't like being muted. So my apologies. So make sure you skip the first 7 minutes because I was muted. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1 hour and 56 minutes, almost 2 hours, 2-hour podcast. It was a great conversation, great early morning coffee Saturday morning conversation. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate the thumbs up. Thank you. Like I said, just make sure that you guys skip the first 7 minutes. Make sure you skip first 7 minutes because it's 9 o'clock. I started at 7 and now it's 9 o'clock. I have to eat my breakfast. I only had my coffee. Yesterday, man, look, I was playing that Resident Evil. I will make a separate video talking about Resident Evil Requiem. And I'm really glad that you guys agree with me. There should be an option to play as Leon instead of Grace. Yes, Grace is a great character, and I understand she's a very important part of the story. But playing as Grace, my God, it really sucks. I'm really having a difficult time playing as Grace in the second playthrough. Okay? When I first played it, I had this guy, Manhunt, who helped me out. If it wasn't for him, dude, I would be struggling. Because he showed me what I need to do, where I need to go to collect all the ammo and all the knives and everything, so I can survive as a Grace Ashcroft. But I really didn't enjoy playing as Grace Ashcroft. And I know some of you will be disappointed that I'm saying that, but I'm just being honest. I really didn't enjoy it. Yes, I finished Resident Evil 9 Requiem. I've done multiple endings. Okay? It's all there. It's documented. But now, second playthrough, me trying to play a second playthrough, I just realized, like, I don't enjoy playing as a Grace Ashcraft. I wish that there was an option for me to play as Leon. Just like they did in Resident Evil 2. In Resident Evil 2, they let you play as either Claire or Leon. You can choose between Claire Redfield or Leon S. Kennedy. And I wish that they would have given us that same opportunity to play as Leon throughout the entire game. Why? Because Leon is badass. He's like John Wick on steroids, man. And you want to play as somebody strong in him. Grace, look, I'll make a separate video, I'll talk about it. She's like an emotional wreck with anxiety and all kinds of stuff. She's weak, and she can be easily eaten by the zombies. Even a basic zombie can eat her. She's just useless, man. Honestly, it sucks playing at her, dude. Really, I really don't enjoy playing at her. That's why I stopped with a second playthrough. I can't. Because it's so annoying and so frustrating to play as her. And on top of that, they don't give you enough ammo for you to defend yourself. And it just sucks, man. I don't know how you guys can do all these playthroughs. Some people told me they played Resident Evil Requiem already 4 times, and they finished it 4 times. I don't know how you did it 4 times, unless you're using some cheat codes on a PC or something, but I don't know how you finished it. But that's probably what they're doing. They're using cheat codes on the PC. That's probably how they're doing. I know there's already cheat codes on the PC. Unlimited health, unlimited ammo, unlimited this. Yeah, if I got unlimited everything, yeah, sure. But, man, I got to tell you, it really sucks. And listen, I don't blame people if they're using cheat codes to play as Grace Ashcroft. I honestly, I would have used the cheat codes for Grace Ashcroft as well. It's just ridiculous, man. But I'll make a separate video talking about that. Hopefully, developers of Resident Evil will give us a option to play as Leon. If they give me that option, I'll jump right back into it, dude. I'll jump right back into it. But it's so hard for me to continue, dude, to play as Grace, man. Oh, and you do spend a lot of time playing as Grace, dude. Oh, especially when you go underground on that basement. Oh, God, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, and then you got that big giant lady. Looks like a Baba Yaga, like a giant Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga witch, giant Baba Yaga witch chasing you. And then you got to deal with that bullshit. Oh, it's so annoying, dude. And I'm glad that you guys agree with me on that. It's just, look, I love Resident Evil. It's a great game. It is a masterpiece, but man, not having the option to play as Leon, it really sucks. People say to me, why haven't you tried to play in the first person mode? Is that going to change anything? Me playing in a first person mode, is that going to make much of a difference? Why don't you play in a first person mode? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I should, I don't know. Try in a first person mode. Okay, alright, well, I don't know. Maybe, you know. Maybe it'll be different. I don't know if I play in a first person mode. But it doesn't matter, man. She's still, you know, she's weak. She's not strong enough. She's weak, you know. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Somebody gave me an advice. It's like an advice recommendation. Why don't you try first person mode? Some people say with a first person mode, it's a little bit easier to kind of move around, maneuver, and hide and sneak around. And have you tried the first person mode? Whoever it was, I can't remember your name. Thank you. Somebody gave me a recommendation, friendly advice recommendation. Hey, why don't you try? I know you're upset, but why don't you try first person mode? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. As far as the chat and comments, I don't know, guys. I'm not ready. Listen, I'm still bitter. I just want to say this. Look, with me, it's 100% transparency here. There's no bullshit. You guys know that. I'm not gonna waste your time with bullshit, nor do I want you to waste your time coming here and listen to my bullshit. I want to be 100% transparent with you. I'm still bitter with the way, with what's been going on my channel, and how some people have disappointed me, you know, and stabbed me in the back and all this bullshit, you know. And I'm still bitter about it, dude. And I'm bitter to the point where it's impossible for me to trust any of you anymore. Like, that's how bad it is. You know, you guys made it happen. Congratulations. Now you made me so paranoid that I cannot trust not a single one of you. That's the kind of paranoia you guys have fucking achieved. That I can't fucking trust not a single one of you, dude. Because all of you want to play these stupid fucking games. You think it's funny. You know, you think it's funny to just go around on the Discord and fuck around with this guy's channel. You know, this is what happens when you do that kind of shit. Now it's not funny anymore. Now you cannot comment. Now you cannot talk to me. And I cannot trust not one single one of you. Because you guys choose to stay quiet instead of telling me who's behind who is doing what, who is orchestrating this bullshit. You guys could have easily come to me anonymously, not publicly, but you could have come forth to me anonymously with an email and told me, hey, this is what's going on, this is what they're doing, these are the groups of people who are conspiring against you on the Discord. You could have told me all of this. You guys had the opportunity to come up clean and say to me, but you guys didn't. You were too afraid to come out and say it to me. And now because of that, these are the consequences. Now you cannot comment. You cannot chat. And I'm not ready to come back, dude. It'll be a long time. It'll be a very, very, very long time, dude. For me to you know, open the gates and let you guys come in and chat and leave a comment. Because now I can't trust none of you. I mean, congratulations. You guys have achieved it. Great job. You guys you accomplished your goal. Congratulations. Thank you. Just understand this. All you have achieved is just made it worse for yourself. Now you can't talk to me. You can't interact with me. And that's what you have achieved. So I hope all this Discord bullshit that you guys have been playing on, all this fun and games on Discord, trying to conspire against me, I hope it was all worth it. All these bullshit games you guys are playing on the StreamYard and the Discord, I hope it was worth it. I hope it was all fucking worth it. All these little Facebook groups and all the shit you guys go to, and Reddit and all that bullshit, I hope it was worth it. So now, you will never have the opportunity to talk to me. You'll never have the opportunity to comment, chat. Congratulations. You guys have fucking made it. But it sucks for you. It doesn't suck for me. Understand that. Clearly, you can see I can do this. I don't need to read your comments. I'm a professional commentator. I can commentate professionally. I've been doing this for 12 years. You need me to talk to me. I don't need you to talk to you. I just need you to click and watch, and I'll make my money. So, you guys accomplished your goals. Now you made me paranoid. Now I cannot trust not a single one of you. Can't trust. I'm not going to name names. I'm not doing that. Okay? I'm not naming names. But I'm simply saying I can't trust nobody. That's where we at. That's where we at. Congratulations. I can't trust no one. That's where we at. Because you guys talk behind my back, do shit behind my back. This is the consequences of that. These are the consequences of that. This is what happens now. You want to play those stupid games, fun and games? Well, congratulations. Thank you. You have accomplished your goals. And now you will never, ever have a chance to talk to me. You'll be able to watch me and listen to me. Yes, you can do that. But you'll never be able to type, leave a comment, or chat with me. Job well done. Job well done.